It's Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti.
All right, we are back. We're going to get to the picks. Mistakes have been made. It's been tough early in the year, and the same thing happened last year, Boomer, so don't lose your confidence. You need data points. You need to just hold the fort. We got a slate this week, and here's what scares me. I like a lot of favorites. Ooh. Buckle up. I know that's not me, but let's get to the picks.
Picks of the week.
All right, I'm going to start with this, and I'm just going to tell you, can I fire Brandon Staley yet? All right, Chargers. Chargers are getting 1.5. They're on the road at Minnesota. Both teams are 0-2. Who do you got, Booms?
I'm going to take the Chargers, road favorites here. And the reason I'm taking them is because of what you just said. I think Brandon Staley realizes that, this ownership group out there, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled the plug halfway through the season if this team doesn't live up to the money that they're spending, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The fact that they have averaged 29 points in their last 4 games and are 0-4 in those last 4 games is mind-boggling to me. But the one thing I do know is this is going to be the highest scoring game of the week, and one of these teams is going to win this game, and I believe it's going to be the Chargers by a field goal late.
I'll go Vikings just because I can't let Brandon Staley hurt me anymore. I just can't. I think it does come down to whoever has the ball last. There's no value in the point spread. I'll go Minnesota. This game's tricky here. Bills laying 6.5. They travel to the Commanders, who are a shocking 2-0. Who do you got?
I don't know if they're that shocking. I will say that their defensive line is so active and so athletic, and we're finally seeing that. Chase Young was able to play last week. I'll take the Commanders. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think they'll keep it close just because of that defensive front four and because of Josh Allen's propensity to run around and extend plays and make plays. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, they should win the game. If he does turn the ball over, it could be a redo of the Jet opening loss at the Meadowlands.
You know what's interesting? I think Allen's played 50. I think he's got 54 or 57 career wins, Boomer. And I think something like 40 of them is by more than 7 points. When they win, they smash. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to be stupid here. I'll take the Bills, lay to 6.5. Let's go Packers, laying 2 to the Saints.
Well, I would say that Jordan Love is playing his way into the hearts of Green Bay Packer fans. I really do. I think that they're being careful with him. They're not asking him to do a lot. But the good thing about him, he's not turning the ball over. That's why they win a game, and the other game that they lose to Atlanta last week is close. I do like their defense. It's young. It's aggressive. I think this team is all in on Jordan Love. And I know that the Saints are all in on Derek Carr, but I have not been overly impressed with his performance the first 2 weeks. I'm going with the Packers. Home opener, by the way.
Yeah, Boomer, this is the toughest game on the board. I could use the opt-out clause, but in the spirit of this, I'll make a pick. I think the Saints' defense is just a level or 12 better than what the Pack has seen so far. I worry about Jordan Love in this spot. I'll take the Saints, but it's my most tepid selection of the week. Atlanta getting 3.5, traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions.
Okay, what a disappointing loss for the Lions last week, giving up
horrific.
all those points to Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. I think this is a bounce-back spot for them, 100%. They're going against a second-year player in Desmond Ridder, who the Atlanta Falcons love, by the way, and the teammates love him. He's a tough guy. He's not afraid to run with the ball. Again, he's only had 50 pass attempts, and I think Arthur Smith is really handling him the right way. They are loaded. Bijan Robinson is the second coming of Barry Sanders. I'm going to take the Lions here at home. It's a lot of points. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I got to believe they can win by 4 here, like a 27-23 type of game, so I'll take the Lions.
Yeah, everything in me wanted to take Atlanta all week, but the line keeps coming down from 5. If this is 4.5, I take Atlanta. I'm with you completely. Lions are all kinds of banged up, missing several people on defense. But this is a game, if you're any good, you can't let Desmond Ridder come to your place in only his 3rd road start of his career and beat you. I'll take the Lions. Don't feel great. Titans getting 3.5, traveling to Cleveland.
All right, well, last week was the redemption game for one Ryan Tannehill. He played well, did not turn the ball over. That's the key. The thing about this particular game is that the Browns' defense is one of the better defenses in football. They do force turnovers, and even without Nick Chubb, they did sign Kareem Hunt. I do like the Browns' offensive line. I like their running game, but I am not buying Deshaun Watson at all. I'm not feeling comfortable about that. So I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel on the road, tough defense, and I'm going with Ryan Tannehill. Yes.
All right. I don't believe me. I don't like Deshaun Watson right now either. That Browns defense with Jim Schwartz, that's going to go down as your call of the year. What Jim Schwartz meant, that hire, the way they play. You know, the Browns defense from an analytics standpoint, not to be a nerd, is actually better than the Cowboys. Browns Nation, let's ride. I'm taking the Browns. I'm sick, but I'm taking the Browns, and it's because of that defense. Texans getting 9.5, traveling to Jacksonville. Boomer, know what to do.
I'm passing on this one.
Oh, no. All right, Texans for me.
All right.
Yeah, listen, C.J. Stroud has not been terrible. The Jags, I think they have some issues, and you know I love them. But they're not qualified to be laying damn near 10 in a divisional game. I'm going to take the Texans here.
The problem with C.J. Stroud is he turns the ball over. That's the problem. You know,
he's a rookie.
Quarterbacks.
I mean, we know this.
I know that. So, and by the way, your boy Trevor Lawrence hasn't played well against the Texans. He's got a losing record against them.
Listen, do you know as a favorite, Trevor Lawrence is 0-4. Just throwing that out there.
Right. I'm just staying away from this game. I know,
and you know what? You're smart. I'm not.
All right.
Let's go. And Scones at the end of this, I give you the 2 games that I'll take off the board for me, but I'm picking them all just for bleeps and giggles. Patriots laying 2.5, traveling to the Jets. Woof.
Woof is right.
Woof.
And, you know, we're talking about weather. We're talking about wind. We're talking about all sorts of possibilities and variables come Sunday. I'm sticking with the Jets. I picked the Jets at WFAN on Friday, of course. And the reason I did is because that defense was embarrassed last week at the hands of the Cowboys. They will come out and they will play so much better this week. And it will be reminiscent of the game against the Bills in week 1. So I think it's a defense run-oriented type of game for Zach Wilson and the Jets. And I'm going to take the Jets. And look, quite frankly, I'm a little bit shaky on this one, but I'm going to stick with them one more time against a team that I think, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, that the Pats are going to go to 0-3.
Yeah, I'm gonna veto this one. I'm not going to be involved. But if I had to pick it, I cannot. If Bill Belichick loses to Zach Wilson and falls to 0-3, I think we got to have a different conversation. We'll move on. Broncos catching 6.5. Traveling to Miami. What do you got?
I think blowout spot here for the Miami Dolphins. Home opener. They won 2 games within the conference already against the Chargers and against the Patriots. They are the fastest team in the NFL. I do not like Russell Wilson on the road here at all. I don't care how much they're going to pare down the plays and figure out a wristband for a quarterback, which is embarrassing. I will say that I love the way that Tua and his guys are playing, so I'm going with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll go with you. I hate laying the points, but I don't see it with Denver. I just don't. And that defense, yikes. Ravens laying 7.5, hosting the Colts.
So this is going to be a Gardner Minshew game, most likely. And I think
they're better with him.
I know they are. They really are. And, the Ravens, I think Lamar finally had his little breakout game last week against the Bengals. He played exceptionally well, especially in the second half when they needed first downs. He would run and go get them. They still have a lot of injuries that they're dealing with, and I know the Colts are tough. I'm going to take the Colts here in the points, but I think the Ravens win the game.
Total agreement. It's too many points. Ravens are banged up, a little bit of a sleepy spot here. And the veteran in Minshew upgrades the Colts. That's not a shot at Anthony Richardson. It's just reality. Seahawks laying 6 to the Panthers. The Red Rifle back in the saddle for Frank Reich.
I think it's going to be like Gardner Minshew for Indianapolis. They may be a little bit better with the Red Rifle because they'll be able to do a few more things offensively. And, Bryce Young has actually played okay. I thought he looked pretty relaxed against the Saints. I don't know where he got hurt. I didn't even realize he got hurt. This is one of those games where the Seahawks.
You don't want to touch it.
I don't want to touch it, but I'm going to take the Panthers at home. I'll take the points.
If I had to pick it, it'd be the Seahawks. But Scones, you can veto this one too. I don't want no part of this thing. Cowboys laying 12.5 to the Cardinals. Should we just say Cowboys and move on?
Yes.
And again, I understand Trayvon Diggs is a loss, but I feel like the wagon wheels are about to fall off Arizona. Chiefs laying 12.5 against a Bears team in absolute turmoil. What do we got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Chiefs have not played well offensively just yet, and now comes the Bears defense that hasn't played well either. But, the problem with the Bears has been the turnovers and the lack of production on the offensive side, due in large part to Justin Fields and the issues that he is having. I maybe he'll run a little bit more this week. Maybe Luke Getsy will call a few more RPOs for him. But I still think the Chiefs are going to, blow them out here. So I could see like a 35-13 type of game.
You realize you and I got no shot of getting out of this alive, laying 12.5 with the Cowboys and 12.5 with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
you realize.
I do that.
One of these
teams are going to lose it. I know. I understand.
I'm going to give you my favorite pick of the week here.
Okay.
Steelers getting 2.5 at the Raiders. I don't like the Raiders. I love the Raiders here. Steelers can't stop the run. They got gifted that game against Cleveland. This is a great bounce-back spot for Vegas, Jimmy G, the whole bit. I love the Raiders here.
Who's under more pressure in this game? Is it Josh McDaniels and Jimmy G, or is it Mike Tomlin and Kenny Pickett?
I just think Tomlin's built up so much equity. It would have to be McDaniels.
It's got to be McDaniels. So this is one of those, like, we better win this game spots.
Yeah.
Or our season's going to basically start spiraling out of control. I'm going to take the Raiders here, and the reason I'm taking the Raiders here is because the more I read about Kenny Pickett, the more I read about Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, the more I worry about what their offense is all about. It should be a low-scoring game, by the way.
Yeah, and I know you like Pickett. Watching the game, I don't even know how to evaluate him. He doesn't have any time. That offensive line got ravaged, and believe me, I can't compare Cleveland to what the Vegas has, but Max Crosby against these tackles, oh boy!
And also remember, you're playing a team in the Raiders that got completely blown out last week, and
right.
I do believe that Devontae Adams is going to play in this game. I don't see why he wouldn't. I know he left last week, concussion protocol and all that, but it looks like he's going to play.
Now, is this a Boomer protocol game here? This is the number retirement Ring of Honor Fiesta, but we also Burrow's health. Remember we started doing protocols later in the year last year?
Yes.
If he plays, I take this. If he doesn't, I take that.
Yes.
Bengals laying 2.5, hosting the Rams. How do you want to approach this?
This is a Boomer protocol game. And by the way, my number's not being retired. I'm just going into the Ring of Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the way it works. So, which is nice. But only 39 years after I was drafted by the Bengals. Believe that or not.
Mistakes were made.
Well, I mean, they haven't had a Ring of Honor since,
which is also
3 years
silly.
ago.
But see, now you're getting me to say mean things.
Yeah, don't.
What do you want to do here? What do you want to do?
This is a protocol game. I'm taking the Bengals if Burrow's playing. If he's not playing, then I'm taking the Rams. Are we allowed to do that? I mean, we don't know, and we won't know.
Scones, how do you want to rule on this?
We
Scones?
did this last year. I think it was because Mike White and Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson was starting, you weren't going to take the Jets. If Mike White was starting, you were going to take the Jets. So we could do this. It's a contingency plan. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on game day.
Yeah. So for the people who are listening to us, they know what we are thinking. Because we can't go back because we don't have an opportunity to do that. So I'm telling you right now, Joe Burrow plays, Boom's in the house, they're going to rip it. They're going to rip it, and they're going to let it go, and they're going to score a lot of points.
And if they don't,
then I think it's Matthew Stafford's going to have a field day.
And poor Boomer's eating sad airport pizza. Okay, so I will follow the contingency plan you have. If Joe Cool plays, I'm in. If he doesn't, I'm out. So now, what are the two games you're taking off your board? And I give it a 2, I'm taking off of mine. What are the 2 you want to skip?
All right, so I'm taking the Texans and the Jags off the board. He knows that. And then I'm probably going to take the Titans and the Browns off the board.
All right, I'm going to take Pats, Jets, Scones. I just can't do it. And I want no part of that Seattle Panthers game. He might be right with the red rifle. I'm out of that too.